Hello, and welcome to another edition of EITV. Now, I got a couple topics that I'd like to talk about. One is the replacement officials that will be officiating Week 1 in the NFL. Now, what concerns me about having replacement officials in Week 1 is that the experience that these guys have. Some of these, none of them, first off, has had experience over Division II in football. A lot have had Division III. Some have had high school, and a couple have even officiated the Lingerie League on MTV, which is very entertaining for all my MTV fans. But getting back to business, the replacement officials, if you've never officiated a LSU Alabama football game and understand the speed that goes with that level of football, how can you expect these officials to be thrown into the lion's den and deal with some of the fastest athletes on the football field of the United States of America? I mean, they could be blowing calls, they could be missing calls, they could be having wrong calls at critical situations that could determine winning and losing. We've all seen throughout the preseason, a lot of these guys had the calls mixed up. They called a touchback when the ball landed on the 10-yard line, and the giant preseason football game, the guy that was running back the punt return was also called for holding. Tell me how he did that, I don't know. But long story short, the NFL right now is probably one of the biggest cash cows in sports as we know it. And for the league to allow this to happen in Week 1 is crazy. But I'm sure these guys are smarter than we are, and they're just sweating this out. But the replacement officials will be back soon because they know that the game and the integrity of the game has to be maintained for the fans to come back. Now let's talk about college football. Now, in Week 1, there were really no big, upsets or any big news items to report. But did you see Alabama and Michigan play? Well, this is the first quarter and a half, because after that, the game was over. But I mean, Alabama looks like a semi-pro team. They look like an NFL team from the way they look, they act, they talk, they tackle, the way they go about their business. I mean, it was almost as if every time somebody was running the ball out of the backfield, the guy had a different number but was gaining 7-8 yards a pop. I mean, Nick Saban has that program running like a well-oiled machine. I mean, USC, I understand they went from 1 to 2, but look at the caliber of competition. Alabama played a top 25 team, or I should say number 8 ranked in the country, Michigan, while USC played a team that wasn't even ranked in the top 25. Yeah, they looked good beating them and scoring a 75-yard touchdown play on the first possession, but what we got to understand is this. Alabama destroyed a top 10 team. That leads me to believe that if USC could defeat Oregon and if Alabama could defeat LSU, these two guys could be looking at a collision course for the national title. Now, speaking of LSU, Tyrann Mathieu, the high-caliber Heisman Trophy candidate defensive back on LSU who's been dismissed for the team, has enrolled at LSU just to take classes and will not be a part of the football team this year. Now, there have been a lot of allegations about him and why he was dismissed, but the fact that he's enrolling in classes and wants to get his life together, once you get everything together off the field, that's when you can begin to have fun on the field. Hopefully for Tyrann, that will be the case. But that's all that has been taking place for right now in sports. Next week, I'm going to really talk about some baseball and talk about this division race and the Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles and the Tampa Bay Rays and how all of them are making a mishmash of the AL East. Thank you for watching and enjoy your night, everyone.